Whether or not this photo is authentic of Prince Andrew with his arm around the then 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre, and whether or not, after it was taken, the royal forced her to have sex with him, will now be among the key allegations likely to form the basis of a civil trial by jury later this year. A trial Prince Andrew himself called for yesterday in his formal response to Miss Giuffre's civil complaint against him. She alleges that in 2001, not only was she sexually abused in the house where that photo was taken, the London home of the convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, but that he also sexually assaulted her in the New York mansion of Jeffrey Epstein, the now deceased billionaire sex offender, and on Epstein's private island in the Caribbean.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
The prince denies all the allegations against him and included 41 denials in his filing yesterday. Remember, in this now infamous interview, he also claimed he couldn't recall even meeting Miss Giuffre and suggested the photo taken of them together may have been doctored.
You can't prove whether or not that photograph is faked or not.
In his response yesterday, the prince's lawyers now argue there isn't sufficient information to admit or deny whether or not the photo was authentic.
That's a bizarre answer with regard to a photograph that A, he's known about for a very long period of time, and B, he's actually depicted it.
The prince did admit meeting Jeffrey Epstein in or around 1999, but he denied being close friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. In one of his defences, the Duke claimed Miss Giuffre's allegations should be barred by her own wrongful conduct, citing a legal concept known as unclean hands, a likely reference to what Giuffre has described as being groomed and trained by Maxwell to recruit young girls for Epstein.
We have some sense from his prior pleadings that he's going to point to Virginia Giuffre Roberts' admission that she herself brought a number of minor girls into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking circle. The thing that we know for certain is it threatens to inject a lot more ugliness into what was already going to be a very ugly and salacious trial.
In their response today, Virginia Giuffre's lawyers said Prince Andrew's answer continues his approach of denying any knowledge or information concerning the claims against him and purporting to blame the victim of the abuse for somehow bringing it on herself. We look forward to confronting Prince Andrew with his denials and attempts to blame Miss Giuffre for her own abuse at his deposition and at trial. There's still a chance the case could be settled out of court, though Miss Giuffre has made clear she's determined to seek vindication and, in her words, make Prince Andrew finally come clean.